I'm a hustler, baby.
It's time for Hustle Her podcast. I'm your host, Deshay Keynes. Hustle Her is all about inspiring women through real life experiences that have helped to mold and develop not only me, but my guests into the entrepreneurs and leaders we are today. If you're an enterprising woman determined to succeed and looking for a bit of motivation, a bit of tough love, and some actionable takeaways to be the best you, girl, you are in the right place. Please help me welcome Jasmine De Silva.
Hi. Hey.
Welcome to the sofa.
I know.
Not a red table, but we're
I know.
sofa, so we're
I
good.
know. This is fun, and it's very comfortable, by the way.
Yeah.
Might just buy it.
Stephen would love that, so we're good there. All right, so we know each other, but my guests don't know you that well yet. So I'm going to start off with a few rapid fires, and then we'll jump right in.
All right, let's see if I can answer them.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
let's go. All right, what's your favorite word?
Ooh. Blessing.
Okay, favorite color?
Yellow.
Really? I would have never guessed that. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Favorite restaurant to get sushi?
Pearl.
Ah, duh. All right. What is one word you have a hard time pronouncing?
That's such a good question.
Because you got to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. Oh God, I said it the other day. Gosh, I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
We have to come back to that, but
right.
I'm gonna
We'll come
remember.
back. Where was your last vacation?
Bahamas.
Where did you stay?
With my best friend from Bahamas, Candace. Hi, Candy.
What's your favorite body part on yourself?
Legs.
Really?
All day.
All right. I see you, girl. And what's your favorite word in another language?
I don't know. Je m'appelle. I don't know any other words.
Me
in
is
other
oy vey. I say oy vey all
Honestly,
the time.
I am not, I'm bad at languages.
Really?
Yes.
What did you study in high school?
So I studied French. I tell this story all the time. I was a straight A student.
That doesn't surprise me.
Don't believe in anything but an A. And at Berkeley at the time, so I went to Berkeley before I went away to boarding school. And at Berkeley, they had A stream, B stream, C stream, whatever, and grouped people into classes that way. I was in A stream everything except French. And I'll never forget walking into the C stream French class and everybody being like, why are you here? And I'm just like, because I suck at French and I don't understand feminine and masculine.
It makes no sense.
It's dumb. Anyway, it's the one thing. I'm not good at languages. I'm really not. So there's that.
You're good at English, so that's all that matters.
I'm a communicator, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. So tell me about little Jasmine. How was little Jasmine, 8, 9-year-old? What did she love to do?
Dance. Little Jasmine loved to dance. Little Jasmine was very similar to Big Jasmine. Little Jasmine loved to dance. She loved people. She was happy. I was a happy kid. I loved family. She liked to do well in school.
Really? So very similar, like you said, to Jasmine now.
Yeah. Very similar.
She was a perfectionist as well.
I don't know if I would have described it at that age as perfection. I think I was developing into, I was in the way that I'm not now is that as a young kid, as even a teenager, I was a very much in the box thinker, in the box person. I believed if you followed a straight line, if you went this way, that things would work out that way. And so my goal in life was always to tick boxes and walk in a straight line.
But why?
I think that's a bit of what I was taught. My dad used to say you have no other responsibilities but to get an A.
Agreed. That sounds like Dwayne.
That is your only responsibility is to do well in school. He was very focused on academics. I tell people he wasn't even that focused on athletics. Like me becoming more into fitness is later in my life. But I was taught to do well in school, and that in doing well in school, you would do well in life. And that was the formula he followed, and thus that would be the formula I followed. And so that's from a very young age, I have always wanted to do well in school, wanted to do well.
And then what did you want to be growing up though?
When I was younger, so like little Jasmine wanted to be a pediatrician. I love biology. Love biology.
So when did that change?
I still love biology.
Okay.
I don't like calculus.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
And when I found out, hold up, in order, nah, that's not going to work. But I also love history. History is like one of my favorite classes. I loved stories and I loved to read. Little Jasmine was obsessed with reading. I would read books. I wouldn't watch TV. I would just read books and read books and books and books. And my parents would take me to Barnes and Noble. We'd go on trips and I'd spend like $400 on books. And my brother would be like, that's not fair. Like, that's fun for her.
Exactly. Where's my $400?
Where's my $400? But yeah, I loved reading. I loved getting lost in stories. I was really good at reading, really advanced. So yeah, that was little Jasmine. But I was a happy kid.
And so growing up, like, when did you decide that you wanted to kind of go into the insurance industry?
So I don't know if that's a decision I made. Yeah, it was an intentional decision. I wanted to be a lawyer. So I loved history and then realized that I was not going to do biology in university. I was really good at economics and went to university to do economics and history, political science. And
Really?
then, but then economics slowly became more like calculus. And I was like, why does this haunt me? Why is calculus following me everywhere? And I think I love the business side of economics, but like, I don't want to do, I'm too old now. Like, let's get rid of calculus. So I started to slowly go towards political science. And I got a specialist in political science. At U of T, you could double major, you could major and double minor, you could specialize. And so I decided to specialize in political science. And I think, like everyone else at U of T, everyone that specialized in political science was going to be a lawyer. So I'd be a lawyer. Great. I mean, you talk.
Yeah.
You know, I can talk.
Yeah.
You research. I love to research. And so I took a law class in my third year at U of T. Whew. Did I ever hate it? Like, I hated it. And I applied for a scholarship to do this student internship, not a scholarship, internship in Bermuda that summer. Because I was like, I got to go back to square one. Like, what am I going to do? And I thought about public relations and...
Which you would have done well in as well.
Yes, we'll talk about why that didn't happen. But kind of has happened, I think, in my current role. But I came home, I applied for a student internship program. At that time, it was with ACE, Bank of Bermuda. Yeah. And Deloitte and Touche, right? And so I got into the program. There was 12 of us, and part of that was at ACE. And I learned about the insurance industry in Bermuda. I learned about underwriting. I learned about broking. And I was like, I could do this. And that's when I decided that if I was to come home, that this could be something I did.
And so when you did come home, how was that navigating to breaking into industry?
So... I've been a loser for a really long time. My fourth year. So I had decided I wasn't going to go into public relations. I was going to come home. And that was partly because of Chaka.
Boys.
I'm telling you, what the devil. And so I spent my fourth year at university networking in Bermuda.
Really?
I spent my fourth year coming home and going to meet with people in their offices. I can name the underwriters I went to meet.
Still to this day?
To this day. I know them now, and some of them forgot.
Do they know? Do they know that that's
now they do. I've told them. Like, obviously, I was just some girl that came to their office. Right. But for me, they were people that I networked and talked to different underwriters in the industry. By the time I got home, I had already networked my way into a couple of interviews. And being the impatient person that I was, I had a job probably like a month after I got home.
Really? That's really good.
That's just Jasmine.
I was just going to say, like, not everyone values that's just Jasmine. Not everyone values the benefit of networking.
Yeah.
What made you know or think that you needed to network?
I don't think I knew. I know now. I can retrospectively teach people, but that's always been my gift. Right? My gift is to make friends. my gift is to connect with people. My gift is that I'm not afraid to connect with anyone. And I knew that about myself. I know that about myself. And so I knew I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to get to know you. And I want to know everything about you. And so I literally have no idea. Like, you're asking me, how did I have no idea. I just knew that I wanted what they had. And in order to get what they had, I had to talk to them. And I needed to figure out how they did what they did. And I needed them to like me so that they could. That's still my thing. I want you to know that I'm someone you should hire. So yeah, that's how I did it.
I love that segue though, because you were at Sampo for a number of years and then you segued into something different. What made you want to do that?
We got time?
We got a little bit.
So I was at Sampo for a long time, and I think I had decided that I would just be in underwriting. I think I had just decided that I would just, I guess, do the traditional route. And I'm not that person. And I try to think back on where was my headspace then. And I think I had decided that as a Black female in the industry, I wasn't going to be what I thought I could be or should be.
Why though?
That environment was not showing me that was possible.
Get it?
I went into endurance ready to take over the world. Like always, I'm still that person.
I was going to say that was today.
I went into that. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Technical assistant underwriter. How do I become an underwriter?
Right.
But there was a point. There was a point in my 20s where I stopped believing it was possible. And I stopped believing that there was any way that I would be greater or better or leader. And I submitted to myself that I would just wait for a promotion. And because of that, I still have this energy. I still am a go-getter. So I started F3.
Which
I started teaching fitness. And fitness and my dance exercise class gave me fulfillment that this job wasn't giving me. You know, it gave me an outlet. It gave me the ability to connect with people. It gave me the ability to think strategically. It gave me ability to business develop. It gave me all those skills and abilities to make an impact on people's lives. That's all I ever wanted. And so the reason I was there for so long, because I was really also focused somewhere else. And that someone where else was giving me what I needed, period. But there was a moment, there was a couple of years when I was like, I have to go.
What moment was that?
I think I had just had Myla. I'd had Myla. And I think when you become a mom, there's a certain I don't give a, and a certain self-assuredness. Like, I take care of a whole life. You can't tell me.
It was created inside
You
of
can't
me.
tell me nothing.
Right.
Like, I got a life. I take care of her. She's alive. She smiles. What are you going to tell me?
Yeah.
And I was like, I used to come home to Chaka and be like, I know there's more in me. Like, there's more I'm supposed to be doing. There's more. I'm not just supposed to go to work and go at 9 and knock off at 5. That's not who I am. That's not what God put me here to do. I don't know what it is. And I remember exploring, trying to find other positions because I felt like leaders, and I know that leaders, if you look at leaders' resumes, they don't just do one job. They've been here, they've been there, they've tried this, they've come back, they
failed.
They failed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I still want to be great. And I took my eyes off of, that for a bit. But no, actually that's who I am. And so I couldn't find another job in the industry where I wasn't going to do exactly what I was already doing.
Right.
And so I decided a year before I quit that I was going to get certified in nutrition, get certified in wellness, corporate wellness, and I was going to try to be a director of wellness. I don't know where. And I would write proposals to different places in Bermuda to propose that I be the director of wellness. And I would tell them what a director of wellness was. And I felt like I could make an impact. Like the joy that I had from F3, I wanted to make that bigger. I wanted to do that full time. And so I convinced someone to hire me as director of wellness. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to provide the income that I had as an underwriter. And I was hired, and the income was almost the same. That's good. And so I quit my job at Sampo, and I was to become a director of wellness for this large wellness organization in Bermuda. So I quit in December, beginning of December. At the beginning of January, I was due to start the job. And I remember going in to talk to the individuals that owned the organization right before I was about to start. It was really exciting. And they said, so we'll see you at 7 a.m. And I said, And I said, yeah, you make 7 to whenever.
Whenever?
And I said, well, I have a 4-year-old. I actually can't make 7. Like I physically cannot make 7 o'clock. Also, I have a husband who makes 7, so that's not going to work. And they said, well, we need you here. And I said, well, my daughter needs me there. Like there's another way we can work this out. And they said the place was relatively new. I don't even think you know the story, Deshay.
I don't.
And the place was relatively new. And they said, when this organization becomes what we know it will be, then we'll talk about flexibility. But until then, we need you here at 7. And I remember I was due to start a week. And I stood up and I ripped up my contract. And I said, I don't know about you, but Myla Patricia DeSilva means more to me than this job. And I walked out of there without a job.
Without a plan B?
Without a plan.
That sounds nothing like Jasmine.
It sounds nothing like young Jasmine, but it sounds absolutely like old Jasmine. And I cried for 5 seconds in my car. And because I had taken this big risk. Yeah. And people had told me I was crazy for leaving underwriting. And I believed in myself. I believe in myself. Yeah. Sat in the car, cried, called my husband, said, what am I going to do? And Chaka was like, so I don't know, are you going to go get a job in underwriting? And I was like, no, I'm not ready to go back. I had bills to pay.
Literally.
I drove around to a gym. I went straight to their boss. I asked them if I could teach spinning. They said yes. I drove around to like an auditorium place. And I asked them if I could rent it to teach. And I started teaching F3 like 5 times a week. God is so good and he's so real. I was able to make more money than I had ever made on F3, like in droves. And like I had put up a post in like 5 seconds later. Like that same day, I had classes lined up. I had a place to teach. And and the whole month that I was teaching like that, everyone was like, you really should just go back to underwriting. And I'm not ready to go back. Like I said I was going to do this. I got to give it a shot. And I wrote more proposals. And I tried to convince more people that they should hire a director of wellness. And that's how I ended up at BWOC.
Wow. Jasmine, I had no idea of any of that.
I know. A lot of people don't. You know, there have been a few times, I think you talk about that little girl who like followed that, you know. The first time in my life where I felt like I had zero control of my life was when I tried to have a baby. And like a lot of women don't talk about it, and I was really young and I struggled with infertility, and it didn't make any damn sense to me. Can I say damn?
Yeah.
But when I look back at that time in my life, I cried. Nothing I did gave me a child.
Right.
And it didn't make any sense to me. I was Jasmine.
Mm-hmm. You do. This is how it works.
This is how it works.
Yeah.
But I say that, and Myla's here. She's 9, and she's not just a child. Mm-hmm. She's a gift. Mm. She's kind and empathetic and responsive and sweet and caring and all the things you want in a kid. And that was the first time that I believe God really showed me that, look, it ain't about you. Like, you can't control this. You think you're in control, but you're not. Mm. And it was the first time I truly had to have faith that whatever his plan was for me was going to show itself out. Yeah. And then any time in my life, so that moment when I canceled that contract and I didn't have anything else, and that month where I was like, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. I still have Myla. Yeah. And she's like a living example of God's grace and his favor. Mm. And so I began to see, I've seen how taking risk, I've seen how trusting God's plan for your life plays out over and over and over. And now it's a muscle. Yeah. Now I don't doubt it. Because you know it's going to happen. Because I know it's going to happen. Absolutely. And I don't.
Which is crazy, though, because we're taught growing up that we should know this. You have faith in God.
Yeah.
You're obedient. This is what he has to say to you. It's going to happen. But it's somewhere like as we become adults, it's kind of like, well, hey, I knew this already.
It's one thing to know what words say. Mm-hmm. It's a whole other thing to understand it and to practice it as something that you live.
Yeah, and experience it
as well. Experience it, right?
For sure.
So like, yeah. So I started to be the director of wellness at BWalk, and it taught me so many different things about strategic thinking, about business development, about like that these skills that I always thought I had, that I have them, about impact and influence. Yeah. I increased, the amount of people that were coming through the door, so yeah.
It worked out.
It did.
So one thing, no matter where you kind of are in life, like if you're underwriting, if you're the director of wellness, you're running F3, you're at the BDA, now you're at Artex, you have these big jobs, these all-consuming big jobs. How does that affect home life? How do you still wife? How do you still mother? How do you still have time to run with your husband or work out or anything like that? Like, how do you balance all of that? Because let's be real, you have a big job, and that sucks the life out of you sometimes. How do you balance that?
I don't.
I respect that. I respect that is a real answer.
I do not balance. I integrate and I juggle. One of my fears and flaws, and then I'll answer your question.
No worries.
One of my fears and flaws is that I want to be excellent at everything.
I wouldn't say a flaw, though.
It's absolutely a flaw.
No way.
Absolutely a flaw. I don't believe in mediocrity. I look down on mediocrity.
Snobs.
I want to be 150% at everything.
Okay.
That's not possible.
No, it is not.
But I really want to be 150% wife and 150% mommy and 150% of my job. A lesson that I'm currently trying to learn is that I can do that at the sake of me, right? And then I will be no good to anyone else. I will not have the profit, the margin for those people. I'm very efficient. I think that's how I do a lot of it. I don't have wasted time or wasted hours. Working out is form of mental health and mental, like it has to happen. But, you know, it's not easy. I talk to a lot of my friends who are also like wives and mothers and have big jobs. And we all have the same conclusion, like, this feels pretty unbearable.
Yeah.
It feels pretty hard. But would I change any of it? That's the thing. No. But I'm learning to try to have more grace with myself. I'm learning that I might drop a ball in order to spend more time with my kid. Or better yet, I might drop a ball in order to rest after spending time with my kid.
Okay.
Like I might drop, like the balls are dropped when I'm trying to do something for me. But yeah, it's not, I don't balance it. I don't know. You don't balance. It's not balanceable.
How do you give yourself grace? I like that term.
How do I give myself grace? It's just intentionality. It's literally like a self-talk. It's like, all right, Jasmine, like, you're doing the best that you can. Every day I say, I'm doing the best that I can, like the absolute best that I can. And I try to recall what were my wins for the day. Like, what did I do well? If the only thing I did well was scream for my kid at her track meet,
fastest girl in Bermuda,
then that's what I did well. And she saw me there and I was supporting her and I did that well. Like, I mommied well today.
Yeah.
But don't let me wake up, do laundry, clean the house, get the groceries, do homework with my kid, do work on the computer. Like, don't let me do all that, because I'm like, I actually am superhuman.
You're hilarious.
And I have those days where I'm like, honestly,
Like, wow.
but also I'm exhausted. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it all fuels each other. I wouldn't give any of it up. I love my job. I love my kid, and I love my husband.
Yeah.
So,
How does your husband support you?
let's talk about Chaka De Silva. Like, we should
I love how your eyes just light up when there's a mention of his name. It is the sweetest thing.
How does I married Chaka because of his support. I don't know. I'm not like, I got married young. I got married when I was 24. I got engaged when I was 22. And for someone like me, that's crazy. Like that quote unquote boss females. We don't get married at 2 years old. We got things to do. Things to accomplish. But Chaka is the reason I'm so successful. His support is unwavering.
Wow.
Like, he feeds me. Let's be clear.
That's a big.
That is huge.
That's massive.
Like, I buy the groceries, but that man feeds me. That is one of his supports. But he doesn't. I am the one that comes to him like, I want to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, that sounds great. Do you think you can fit that in? Don't tell me. I'm going to support you regardless. And that support looks like he needs to be there when I cry because I took on too much and I did too much. And he needs to not put it back up in my face.
There you go.
But that's what he does. My husband is magical. He's a gift from God. Like, because I don't worry. I've never had to worry about a man. Like, I got married so young. I never had to worry about love. I never had to worry about any of that stuff. Like, that stuff, I've been able to focus on my career and all of those things because I know and knew I had him. I call him like a home base. Like, I'm a baseball player and I like to run, like run the bases. And he's always there at like home plate.
Catches you.
Always.
Does he ever have to like slow you down sometimes?
Yeah.
Do you listen?
No. No. You know, I fear that he doesn't know how much I appreciate him all the time. Because, like, I got a loud mouth and I'm opinionated. And like our marriage has been through ups, downs, all around. We've been married almost 14 years.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. And I was talking about this last night, you know, there's a lot of people that got married at the same time as us are divorced.
Wow.
Or getting divorced. And there's so much success. I feel like I see so much success in like a second wife or a second marriage. There's this beauty on the other side of the hardness. Like there's this beauty in being with someone for that period of time and them seeing your evolution and them being with you when times are tough between each other and you guys individually. There's this beauty in like going through the seasons and not quitting in the winter and understanding that spring and summer are going to come and winter will come again. You know, my husband gets me. I feel like I get him. He's a blessing I never asked for and I never prayed for and I never feel like I am worthy of.
Wow. That's awesome. I hope Chaka's listening.
I don't know if he will.
This is it because
he's gonna replay it when I tell him
my
he
goodness.
pisses me off. It's gonna be like, play. What?
That is like,
what are you saying? But no, he's an excellent husband and an excellent daddy, and he tries really hard. And I think when you see your husband trying, you can only try. You know, I think there was periods in my marriage where I would have been like, you know what, this ain't it. It's for the birds. And I like to exit left.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm at a space now where I'm like, this is for the birds and we'll just call the therapist.
This is called a therapist. Sometimes you need the help, right? Like
sometimes,
you need it.
all the time. You know what? We black people are not taught about therapy.
It's the truth. It is the truth. And then especially because therapy has a stigma of, you know, you're crazy if you go to therapy, or what goes on in our house stays in our house, and those types of things. And honestly, one of the best things I've ever done in my life was go to therapy.
It's so good. Therapy
so
and
good.
God.
100%. And don't be a Christian being younger and talk about therapy. Then you don't believe in Jesus, because you can't do both. But guys, you can do both.
God created therapists.
This is it. Yeah. We need them. I'm telling you, they bring out a lot of clarity, a lot of things that you don't want to know about yourself that you know about yourself.
Exactly.
And sometimes you need someone to kind of put you in your place in a professional way.
And walk you through it. Like give you tools.
Absolutely.
We talk about tools. Like Chaka and I talk about tools. Like I feel like we're self-aware enough to know like what I suck at, what he sucks at. But like then we don't know how to fix it.
Right. And that's what the therapy comes in handy with that. Yeah. They give you the tools, the tools. Absolutely. That is a good word. Yeah. The work, you know, you got to do the work if you want to do that.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Life
Fix your face.
I know. I was just thinking about how much work goes into making successful relationships and being a good human being. You know, I think people don't realize that. Like, it's constant work to just be a quality individual and have quality relationships. And we're so lazy. We don't want to do the work. No. We don't want to put in the work in anything. And I've always said, like, I think that's one of my superpowers. I'm not afraid of the work.
That's good. Because sometimes you have visions, right, of where you see your life or what you want to do or businesses or work or any of those types of things. And then the journey to get there, people don't want to do that.
Nobody wants that.
The fact that you want to do the work.
It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. So what would you say is like your zone of genius? Like what time of day do you get the most out of Jasmine?
So that's two questions. What time of day or what is my zone of genius?
Okay, let's start with your zone of genius.
My zone of genius is truly connecting. Like connecting with people, being resourceful. I may not know the answer, but you bet your bottom dollar I have a friend who knows the answer. And because I connect, I can call anyone and make this happen. My zone of genius is being an executor. A lot of people are thinkers. A lot of people have great ideas. They're really smart. I would never claim to be the smartest person in the room. I would claim to be someone who's going to get it done.
Resourceful.
Consistently.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm disciplined. I am not afraid of delayed gratification. I specialize in it. I'm okay that it will not be what I want it to be for the longer term of what I want it to be. That's my zone.
I love that.
Time of day, morning.
Ugh, not the
Good morning.
Yeah. Jasmine be in our WhatsApp chats first thing in the morning, be like 5 o'clock. And I'm like, this girl don't go back to sleep.
And look, already worked out and got 20 ideas. Guys.
Like, ma'am, my alarm is just going off.
What I think we should do is
No, but like rapid fire, like bang, 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 bang. And it's like, girl, can I use the bathroom?
And then I need coffee to sustain that for the rest of the day.
Like, I don't know how you do it. And you run at this energy all day.
Yeah, but I'm not, like, some of it is coffee.
Well, coffee is important.
Some of it is coffee, but
yeah.
I like to be the energy in the room.
Yeah. What's something you think that people misunderstand about you?
My energy. My energy and my passion are often misunderstood.
In like how?
A lot of ways. Don't mistake my energy and my passion for a lack of seriousness or ability to get crap done. People that don't know my work ethic don't know, like, I'm your friend. I'm smiley. I'm happy. But what I'm going to do is get my stuff done.
Yeah.
Right? We can be happy-go-lucky, but there is a side of me that literally believes, like, execution is so important. My passion is, I'm a Black woman. We're not supposed to be passionate and vulnerable and authentic.
Not authentically you. We're not
And
supposed to.
I absolutely have the inability to be me. Like, I could come in here and try to not be me, and it just doesn't work. But it also is a gift. The gift to show up passionately, and the gift to show up authentically, and the gift to walk away and say that's what you got. I think that's a gift as well. Some people struggle to be who they are in different spaces, and I don't.
No, that is a gift. I mean, I think I called you the day that I felt like a bit of an imposter. And that was a very strange feeling for me. I'm very comfortable in who Deshay is. And in that particular situation, I was just like, whoa, it was very unfamiliar.
Yeah.
And so it's good that you know who you are and you unapologetically you. And that's what I love about you.
Aw. But imposter syndrome and authenticity, they're not opposites.
No.
Right?
You're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the imposter syndrome sometimes is because you walked in that space and you were you.
Yeah.
And then you walked away and was like, anxiety. What did I say, God? Did I?
No, literally.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's some of it is like, I don't want you to perceive me as one thing, I don't want people to perceive me as having it all together. I don't want people to perceive I don't know. I am passionate, but that passion fuels everything.
Gotcha.
I am going to be your friend with that passion. Like, I'm going to stalk you and love you, and you are going to like it.
Yeah. You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
I am going that I give things like my entire being, and that sometimes can be misunderstood. And some people don't like it. I think as I got older, you know what? I used to be, and I still think I am, there's like a tenet of being a people pleaser and wanting people to like me. Because I like people and I'm a connector. Like, I'm so confused. You don't like me?
Like, why?
Why?
Excuse me.
As I get older, though, I realize not everybody's going to like me. And that is, that's not even okay. That's the way it should be. I should be disrupting, and I should be saying things, and I should be taking stances that require that some people don't agree and don't like me. And then I think as I get older, I'm less uncomfortable with, oh, you don't like me? That's cool. I actually don't really like you either. And that's okay.
And if I'm being real about it, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's something I've had to learn as I've gotten older.
So how does Jasmine define success? Like, what is successful to you?
I think I'm trying to change the way I see success.
Why?
Because I've always seen one, unequivocally, till the day I die, success will be impact.
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave this world, and I want to be super exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have, done all of the things. And I want people to say that she helped me. Like, I want there to be quantifiable evidence that I made a difference.
But I think you have that now. I can count, I don't even have enough fingers of how many people I know that are like, Jasmine gave me advice here, or she walked me through an interview here, or she told me, you know what? No, you're making too little money over here. You need to ask for this. This person in this room, their kid goes to this school and they like this. This is how you break through. You are living that.
Yeah, but I want to do more. I want to not leave this earth, and specifically Bermuda, without having impact and sustained impact. And that would be success to me.
Yeah.
I also want a little bit more freedom. I want to be successful enough to be more free with my time, to make more decisions. I feel like success is freedom. Success is having financial stability enough to make choices.
Absolutely.
And to be able to make choices.
But that's what we work hard for now.
Yeah. But no, I just want to leave this world better because I was here.
I love how you answered my last question, because my last question to everyone is, what do you want to be remembered for? Definitely just answered that. So what we'll wrap up with, because I definitely am mindful of your time and mine, and I feel like we could go on.
We could talk forever. For
a long time. But if you could turn back to 18-year-old Jasmine, what would you tell her?
Have more fun, girl.
Really?
I studied. Ask anybody. I spend so much time. I said one of my gifts is that I'm okay with delayed gratification and disciplined. I think that worked as a disadvantage as 18. Like, I just was like, get an A. Do.
Very
no,
regimented.
I cannot go out. I must get an A.
Right.
Girl, you could have got a B and you would have still been here.
Right. I got it.
You know what I mean? And just trust God's timing. Trust that he has his hands on your life. And that there's really nothing more you could do to stop that. Like, it's going to happen regardless. And if you trust that, you're going to be okay. Like, you are totally going to be okay. So relax, have some fun, be a kid, and enjoy this time in your life.
I love it. Well, thank you, Jazzy.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Too much, but
well, that's the whole point of an interview. It's for you to talk. This is the point.
But thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. So where can my guests find you if they want to learn more about Jasmine?
Well, they can follow me on LinkedIn. That's corporate. So that's Jasmine De Silva. And then my Instagram is Jazzy Life in Abundance. Most of it is just a life living abundantly with the kid and a hubby. That's kind of now what I post mostly. Myla.
It's mostly Myla.
Yeah, it's mostly Myla. She's cute.
Yeah, she's adorable. And she's super fast because she runs. So it's good. All right. Well, thank you, lovely. I appreciate you. And guys, if you want to learn more about Jasmine, make sure you connect with her on LinkedIn. And she also has an IG page if you want to follow her and see more about her life and everything that's going on. Make sure you hit the podcast website. So it's hustleherpodcast.com. In there, you'll find a bit of show notes. You'll find Jasmine's full bio in that place. So if you want to learn more about her and what she has going on, we're keeping our fingers crossed that F3 will come back. And we're so excited to have Jasmine here with us today. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Hustle Her Podcast.